helping out not only at our US-China CEO Business Summit, but we're going to be throwing quite a party at the Santa Anita Racetrack directly following the Business Summit. At this time, I would like to introduce your Master of Ceremonies for today's summit. Our Master of Ceremonies is Stephen Chung, the President of the World Trade Center, Los Angeles, the WTC-LA. The WTC-LA works to support the development of international trade and business opportunities for Southern California companies as the leading international trade association, trade service organization, and trade resource in the Los Angeles region. Prior to his current role, Mr. Chung was the Secretary General for Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti and was responsible for managing policies and programs related to the Port of Los Angeles World Airports, and the international affairs and global trade. Concurrently, Chung was the Director of International Trade for the Ports of Los Angeles, the busiest container port in North America, and he was responsible for developing programs to increase trade through the Port of Los Angeles and facilitate goods movement through the Southern California region. Well, he's facilitating movement here today because we're going to roll through for the next 3 hours on a wild ride of some of the most exciting panelists and foremost thought leaders on many panels today. So let's get started. Please bring down the house with lots of applause. Why not a standing ovation for our Master of Ceremonies, Stephen Chung.
Thank you, Denise. Welcome, everybody, to the beautiful city of Arcadia in sunny California, and welcome to the US-China CEO Business Summit. We have an exciting program ahead of you today, but before we start, I want to remind the audience that we're being taped live by our friends at HTTV, and it's going to be broadcast to a worldwide audience. So, for the best effect, if you can do me a big favor and turn off your cell phone right now. Also, no flash photography, and please do not walk in front of the cameras that are stationed right here on the center aisle. We're hosting this wonderful summit in a beautiful, beautiful location, the Arcadia Performing Arts Center. And this event could not happen without the great support and partnership from the Arcadia Performing Arts Foundation. We would like to thank the foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in applauding them.
Let's thank everybody that made it happen today. What do you think about that? I'd like to take a minute to announce our sponsors for today's events, as well as our gala celebration later this evening. Our diamond sponsor, the #1 most important man in the house, South Coast Plaza and Warner Escher. Let's give him a big round of applause for supporting our events. Our gold sponsor, US-China Investments Group. Our gold sponsor, Michael Gordon of USA China Investments Group.
And we have a number of different silver sponsors to thank, including Delta Airlines, Huawei Enterprise USA, the Los Angeles Business Journal, Prestige Private Air, and Tabasco of America.
And we have our bronze sponsors, Apex Computer Systems, Dragon Crowd Garment, EMA Design Group, Law Offices of Steve Chi and Associates, and World Beauty Design Association.
And our honorary sponsors include Bank of America, Beijing Broad and Bright Law Firm, Cedars-Sinai, China Mobile International USA, Citi Private Bank, Englander, Ganabe and Allen, Focus Technology USA, Good Count, Henry Group, Mitchell, Silverberg, and Nupp, Partners Trust, Vertex Telecom, and ZTE USA.
And we have a lot of friends, and we're going to mention them very briefly. You'll see them on the program tonight at dinner, but we have so many supporters and friends with in-kind contributions. I'm going to quickly announce them. We have 85C Bakery Cafe, Anolan Lux World, the Arcadia Performing Arts Foundation, Organic, BYD Motor, limousine all of our VIPs over to the reception, Blythe Schult, California Wine and Company, Chronic Tacos, myself, Denise O'Brien, and my company Dome Consulting, DJ Steve Mendez, Freddie Ravel, Galt International, Jean Van Buren, Ginger de Paris, Golden Eagle Aviation, Greenland USA, who hosted a fabulous party for all of our guests last night in their most exquisite offices in downtown Los Angeles. HGTV USA, who's filming live today. Jerome Dean, Jim White, Jimmy G, CTS, Leia Leia, Luli Gongfang, Lori Bachelou, Losa Naya, who did our press conference food, Lucy DeCastanau, Malibu Family Wines, Mark Warnock will be serving water for all of you over at our gala. Michael and Maisie Yang and friends, Perpi Servosky and friends, Sandra Richland and TRG Golf, Santa Anita Park Racetrack, Story Tong, and Sue Wong Fashion. Thank you, Sue Wong. Sue Wong dressed all of the executives, and you'll see some of them on stage later, and tonight I'll be wearing a number of her evening gowns emceeing the gala. Thank you so much. Back to Stephen.
Thank you, Denise. And before we stop, we actually want to make sure that we thank the staff and especially Denise for putting together this great program, not only for this afternoon, but this evening as well. Denise, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I want to welcome you to the 10th anniversary celebration of the American Chinese CEO Society. We have an exciting program ahead of us, and you'll be hearing from some amazing speakers and panelists that will share great insights on the current trends and future opportunities between the US and China. The relationship between the US and China is deep and has a profound impact on both the public and private sectors. According to the Rhodium Group, there are over $12 billion worth of investments coming from China into the US just last year. Furthermore, in 2014, total trade between China and the US reached a staggering $592 billion. There is no doubt that the futures of both countries will continue to be intricately tied to one another. So it's important for all of us to learn more about the trends and projections from both of the public and the private sector so we can have a better understanding of what lies ahead for us in the near future. To kick off this fantastic summit, please welcome Mr. Robert Sun to provide the summit welcome remarks. Robert Sun is the president of the American Chinese CEO Society, which he founded in 2005 to serve mainstream US companies and Chinese companies, and he has been the founding chairman and president for nearly 10 years. Mr. Sun combines impressive diplomatic, executive, and management achievements in US and China government relations with high-level business joint ventures in the medical device, pharmaceutical, energy, and real estate and food industries. Over the last 25 years, Mr. Sun has built a strong network of international government, business, and academic contacts and is widely respected in government and business circles, maintaining high-level contacts and friendship with many leaders in China, the People's Congress, and CEOs of the many largest corporations in China and America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Robert Sun.
大家好，我今天非常荣幸在这里代表美中企业家商会跟大家一起举行我们的10周年的庆典。我们今天的第一项节目是美中两国企业高峰论坛。我们非常荣幸请到我们中华人民共和国驻洛杉矶总领事刘健大使，还有美国商务部副部长库默先生，还有这个原来的住房与城市发展部的部长 Harris Sinero， 以及很多的企业的嘉宾。所以我今天要对大家的到来，对各位朋友来参加这次论坛表示衷心的感谢和热烈的欢迎。I'm very, very happy today to open my arms to welcome all of you to celebrate American Chinese CEO Society 10th anniversary. sounds like more people understand English than Chinese. I'm very honored to have Chinese Consul General and Ambassador Liu Jian later to open our business summit. And I'm also very, very happy to have the U.S. Assistant Secretary of the Department of Commerce, Mr. Kumar, leading a delegation to join us today. And also Henry Cisnero, flying all the way from Texas. And he's the former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. And also friends from China and from around the world to join us today. And also many of the friends and ACCS members. I want to thank all of you. And at the same time, I want to thank our team for putting this great event together. And we started, go ahead. We have a great team. And this is one thing, when you want to do something like this, your team is the backbone. So I want to thank our team for putting this great event together. So thank you. I hope you will enjoy this event. After this, then VIP reception and the gala. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sun. It is my great pleasure to introduce you to our first keynote speaker, Ambassador Liu Jian, Consul General of China in Los Angeles. Ambassador Liu has spent more than 30 years as a career diplomat, serving in strategic appointments around the world, including Pakistan, Malaysia, and Afghanistan. Since arriving in Los Angeles in 2013, Ambassador Liu has been a great friend and partner to Los Angeles, and we could not have a better Consul General to help bring together Los Angeles and China. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming the Honorable Ambassador Liu Jian.
Mr. President, honorables, ladies and gentlemen, it's such a great delight to join you at this opening ceremony. I much value this kind of opportunity to exchange ideas and share observations about the advance of China-California business links. A brief analysis of China-US business cooperation means that we can all take pride in some outstanding achievements. Well, in terms of trade, when China and the United States established diplomatic ties in 1939, the bilateral trade was only $2.45 billion. In 2014, however, it reached $550 billion. That's according to our statistics. Well, now China and the United States are the second largest trading partners to each other. In terms of investment, by the end of 2014, the accumulated U.S. investment projects in China have reached 64,000, with the paid-in capital amounting to $75.4 billion. And at the same time, there are 1,500 establishments by Chinese firms across the United States. Well, it's always tempting to look back and talk about our achievements. Yet, I have a clear message today. Let's not rest on our success. Let's look with fresh minds about how much more we can do. And let's, with renewed vigor, seize great opportunities before us. So going forward, how should we take in the current situation and overall picture What are the favorable conditions and opportunities? I believe there are three things we can do. The first is to maintain confidence in China's economic new normal. We know China's economy has entered a set of new normal. The new normal means a shift of gear of economic growth from high speed to medium high speed. Recently, some Western pundits have predicted a so-called China's economic meltdown. These predictions simply do not hold water. The reality is that despite the impact of peripheral factors that have put downward pressure on China's economy, the growth rate in the first half of this year stayed at 7%. And that is the target set by China's government for its annual growth. We have the ability and confidence to fulfill this target. On top of the steady growth, China is accelerating pace of economic structure upgrading. The focus of this effort is to encourage grassroots startups and innovation. The goal is to give the economy new vim and vigor by making innovation a new driver of the economy. So China's economy is showing great resilience and fulfilling untapped potential. That trend is clear to any observer who analyzes China with an open mind and fair judgment. That means that China in the coming 10 to 20 years will remain steady and moderate growth. Well, turning to the second point or action I propose, that is to catch the fast trend of China's further opening up. We know China's economy has benefited from the policies of reform and opening up. In the coming 30 years, China will upgrade its opening structure. There will be a whole new landscape. The pattern of import and export trade will give way of high value-added trade that emphasizes quality and efficiency. A series of external development strategies and methods are being rolled out that could create mutually beneficial cooperation between China and most countries of the world. These strategies and policies include the Shanghai Pilot Free Trade Zone, the Asia-Pacific Free Trade Area, the One Belt, One Road Initiative, the Asia Infrastructure Development Bank, the New Development Bank, and Silk Road Fund. In the bilateral level, China and the United States are carrying out negotiations on BRT, which certainly we hope it could be concluded at an early date. These are demonstrations of China's commitment of mutual benefit and winning cooperation with the world, certainly including the United States. Well, I noticed LA Mayor Eric Garcetti's words when he says during his visit to China last November that there will be a Pacific century, one that will embrace and intend to lead with China. While Europe and the East Coast might call China the Near West, near the farthest, for LA, it has always been the Near West. So I hope the business community here could give full play to its advantage, seize opportunity, and shape a future of winning cooperation with China. Okay, my third or final action point has a focus on China-US relations. All of us must work together to help build a strong US ties that always sets the tune for bilateral business cooperation. There are many success stories in China-US business cooperation. The business community, of course, should take the credit. Yet one should not forget the picture, the overall picture, that namely this golden time of building a new model of measured countries' relationship between China and the United States, which is based on mutual respect and win-win cooperation. I'm happy to see this consensus was reached between our two presidents during their meeting at San Ynez, Southern California, 2 years ago. To some extent, I should say, Southern California plays a unique role in China-US relations. We should not forget President Nixon, who opened the door to China, also comes from Southern California. Well, in this year alone, there have been and will be a quite number of positive developments. In June of this year, 7th round of China-US strategic and economic dialogue was held in Washington, D.C., during which the two sides had in-depth exchanges on overall long-term strategic issues concerning the economy with the United States and the world, and reached more than 70 important outcomes. Also in June this year, 6th round of China-US high-level consultations on people-to-people exchange was successfully held. In 2014 alone, the two sides implemented 104 consensus, showing the unique charm and great potential of people-to-people and cultural exchanges. Later this year, Chinese president will pay a visit to the United States. This will be a new milestone in China-US relations. We hope this visit will be successful and productive. I hope the business communities here could not only make best use of this golden time, but also work to consolidate and extend the period of strategic opportunities. Business leaders like you are in a prime position to help keep China-California relations on track. Your leadership could help ensure its sound development. You have the means to expand China-California relations and make the economic cake far bigger. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been working here 2 years now, during which I'm happy to see China-California relations have made great progress in trade and economic exchanges. Last year, China was California's third largest export market, with exports totaling $16.1 billion. China was also California's largest source of import, with the imports totaling $137.7 billion. Now, over 300 Chinese companies have established their presence in Southern California. Their investment last year was $1.3 billion, exceeding the total investment volume made all years before. And every week, there are more than 40 flights commuting LAX in Chinese cities. We know 1/3 of the trade between China and the United States is conducted through Los Angeles Customs District. We have also set up California, China's provinces joint working group on trade and investment cooperation, which is initiated by Governor Brown and endorsed by the Chinese president. And this working group has been functioning well. After all, I want to say, California, as the gateway to China and the Pacific, with its size of economy, sizable population of overseas Chinese, unrivaled position, and a solid foundation for the economic cooperation with China, is in a unique and favorable position. In China, there's an old saying, opportunity is difficult to meet, but easy to lose. So let's join us together to grasp the opportunities arising from China's further opening up, think creatively, and work diligently to build better future China-California economic and trade relations. Last but not least, I wish today's event full success. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Can I please have Mr. Sun come up so we can present an award to Ambassador Liu and take a picture, please? Is Mr. Sun here? On behalf of ACCS, I would like to present this award myself. Thank you again, Ambassador Liu. Thank you for your great leadership. As mentioned a little bit before, the trade between Los Angeles and China is humongous, and China is currently the largest trading partner for Los Angeles. So again, on behalf of the residents and citizens of Los Angeles County, thank you for your great leadership. We will now move on to the panel section of the summit. Our first panel will focus on innovation. Los Angeles is quickly becoming the innovation capital of the United States. In just the past few years, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and YouTube have all opened offices on the west side of Los Angeles. They're now joined by hundreds of other startups, including Snapchat, Hulu, and The Honest Company. Venture capital and angel investors continue to increase their focus on Los Angeles. Since 2009, venture investors have invested more than $3.5 billion in tech companies in Los Angeles. Chinese investors are also making major plays in this arena. In 2011, a Chinese firm named Tencent acquired Riot Games for $400 million, and we expect to see more in the coming years. However, the innovation sector is very expansive and includes many different industries, including clean technology, healthcare, aviation, advanced vehicles, and entertainment. So we're thrilled to have a great group of panelists joining us to share their thoughts on this booming industry. We're all interested to learn more about how the innovation industry in China and the US are tied together, and what are some of the challenges and opportunities that companies face as the sector continues to evolve. Mr. Richard Morgenstern, chairman of the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator and the past president of the LA network Tech Coast Angel, has generously agreed to help moderate this panel. Mr. Morgenstern was formerly the managing partner of an intellectual property and business litigation law firm. He was also the former chairman of an NASD licensed investment banking firm. As if that's not enough, Richard serves as an advisor and teaches at some of the best universities in the world that just so happen to be here in our backyard, which includes UCLA, USC, and Caltech. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Richard Morgenstern.
Thank you, Stephen, for that wonderful introduction. May I ask the innovation panel to come forward and get comfortable? I believe we have everybody, and those who require a translation apparatus. Is that...
We have the beautiful Lucia Hu, the co-chair of our entire event this week. Lucia is going to translate for us.
So we're going to get a mic, people get comfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, the history of the evolution of mankind can probably be told from the perspective of our response to change. Change in the environment, change in competitive pressures from those who live around us, change in business, pressure, and environment. Some 2,500 years ago, Lao Tzu introduced a notion and commented on this concept as follows. He said, "Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. They only create sorrow." He also said, "If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are headed." Now, think about that. When I first read it, it seemed fairly straightforward, and the more I thought about it, the deeper and more significant the comment was. Today's panel will be addressing one aspect of humanity's response to change. That is, the responsive change of the business community to competitive and technological forces sweeping through the world. The well-known business advisor Peter Drucker defined innovation, which is what we'll talk about, as the effort to create purposeful, focused change in an enterprise's economic potential. The McKinsey Global Institute stated, "The proof of successful innovation is the ability of companies to expand revenue and create profit." Our panel today is most distinguished and appropriately positioned to comment knowingly on this area. Introducing the panel, and may I ask the panelists to acknowledge the audience as I mention each of your names. John Shen, who is the president of Focus Technologies. Focus Technologies is one of the world's leading enterprises focusing on the business-to-business e-commerce. They are the owner of MadeInChina.com, which is the leading platform connecting overseas enterprises with China's suppliers. Mr. Kenny Dang. Mr. Dang is the Vice President of China Business Collaborations at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, one of the world's most distinguished health complexes. Dr. Zurhan Ji. Dr. Ji is the Vice President and General Manager of Air China's North American operations. Stella Li. Ms. Li is the president of BYD Motoring. She's responsible for overall business operations. And BYD is the world's largest manufacturer of energy storage devices, and also utilizes those devices to manufacture motor transport vehicles operating from them as energy sources. And last but certainly not least, Larry Namer. Mr. Namer is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Mitan Development Group, whose focus is the development and distribution of entertainment content and media specifically for the Chinese-speaking audiences. And I just learned that Larry produces the #1 television show in China. Is that right, Larry?
It's not the #1, but it's pretty popular.
Would you like it to be the #1? So our topic today, ladies and gentlemen, is innovation. And I'm going to start with Mr. Dang. Mr. Dang, how has innovation affected the healthcare industry over the last 5 years in connection with our relations with China?
Well, I'm honored to be the first one to get called.
Well, first, I really want to say it's a great pleasure for me to sit here with all the distinguished leaders to represent Cedars-Sinai. It's also, I feel honored to represent the healthcare industry on this channel. We all know healthcare expenditure in this country is account for 17.5% of GDP. So it's a huge portion of the industry. So for those of you haven't heard Cedars-Sinai, I just want to do 1 minute commercial. So Cedars-Sinai is one of the best hospitals in this country, and we're certainly is the largest private hospital in the West. And last year we actually had a net revenue of $2.8 billion. So that's my commercial time. So regarding the healthcare change or innovation, I would like to say that from a few aspects. So number one is actually on the finance side. We all know Obamacare is implemented in 2014. So that's one of the changes for the healthcare in this country in the last 30, 40 years. The number two change is all the technology, the internet, is allow the patient to have more information and more knowledge. So now the patient is more engaged in their own health rather than just rely on doctors and the hospital. So the number three is kind of linked to the number two. It's because of the internet, it's because all the travel, everything becomes so easy. So healthcare now has become global rather than just locally. So for example, Cedars-Sinai used to be all taking care of the patient locally, but now we're looking at the opportunity to provide healthcare in China or for the people come from China. It's because the internet, patient, it doesn't matter where you are, you can looking for the best hospital and the best doctor and you can get your care there. Thanks for the airline business, it's much easier to fly between China and Los Angeles now. The last one, obviously not the least, is all the medical science development. Those innovation is unbelievable for the last 5 years. We all know AIDS. In the past, when you get AIDS, you die or so. But now AIDS has become another chronic disease. It's totally manageable. And other change also including, you see if you go to the hospital, there's less and less surgeries. A lot of surgery now can perform by a non-invasive or minimum invasive basis. And many surgeries, if you do need to do it, actually perform robotics way. So it's not human, it's rather than robots doing the surgeries. And then we all know all the change on the genetic and the stem cells. So all this change were exciting for the last 5 years. I know I talked too much.
Can you take us 5 to 10 years into the future and specifically addressing the potential operations of the Cedars-Sinai complex with China? What do you see developing?
I think in the last 9 to 10 years, it will be a huge change in the healthcare industry. There will be more, we all talk about the stem cells and genetics, and all the medical care, it become more personalized, target, and also many organs, we're talking about Cedars-Sinai, we actually have a huge, or the largest artificial heart program. So in the future, there will be a lot of organs. Actually, you don't have to rely on donors. It's either can grow from your own stem cells or artificially from different ways. Personal medicine or health. We all carry a lot of cell phones or Fitbit, all those stuff. In the future, you'll get more those devices with yourself so you can monitor your health. So I can see in the next 10 years, people will live much healthier and much longer. Regarding Cedars, we just started. We haven't really had an operation in China yet. But actually that's the whole reason I joined Cedars a couple months ago, to really open the China market. We'll do the exchange program on the medical clinical services and also on the research. And meanwhile, we're also hoping more and more patients will come from China and come to Cedars for the best medical services.
Thank you. Appreciate your insight. Mr. Shea, your business model really depended on the evolution of the internet and its creation. I wonder if you would give us some thoughts as to how the last 5 or 10 years of innovation have facilitated your operations, both in China and around the world, and where you foresee that taking your business in the future.
从你的 technology 的话，之后的前景会是怎样？
对，这样今天可能很多大多数人都是坐汽车自己开车过来的。
So most of people came here, they drove your car here.
我是坐 Uber 的 driver 过来的。
But I took Uber here.
那么其实上呢，给我们注意的一件事情就是技术或者模式已经根本的改变了这个世界。
So this reminds us that something's changing.
That's what we call a failure of technology.
那个我们在5到10年当中，我们现在已经来到了美国，我们在美国建立了我们自己的生意。
But we're here already to build up our own business here.
我们想在美国建立一个生意，能够让大多数的中国的制造商和美国的最终用户，就像一个需要一个外国人到了美国需要出租车，需要用 Uber 这样的一个平台一样。
So we're trying to build a platform between the Chinese manufacturers and the end users from the United States. It's like something like Uber.
因为现在大多数的中国的工厂，如果要把货物卖给美国的最终用户，无论是家庭还是工厂或者学校或者其他的非营利组织，我们需要透过很多的中间商。
So what happened before is, if most of Chinese manufacturers that want to sell to our products, no matter who they are, the non-profit manufacturing or even families, they have to go through all the middle channels to sell their products here.
那这个过程本身是一个非常消耗时间的，是一个成本很昂贵的，并且整个信息的流动跟这个时代是完全不一致的。这是一个完全透明的时代，所有的信息应该无障碍的流动。
So by now what happens, this is what happened before, it's really cost a lot of money, timing, and a lot of efforts, and there are misunderstanding because information which is not compatible with our today's society.
我们会在美国建立一个平台，透过这个平台，中国的制造商可以把货物直接卖给美国的最终用户，从而呢可以让中国的制造商可以赚到更多的钱，可以让美国的最终用户可以花更少的钱。
So what we're doing here is to build a platform. Now the Chinese manufacturers, they can communicate directly with end users in the United States, and now making more profit on the manufacturing side, and there are more services provided to end users here in the United States.
因为在过去这个叫什么？尽管美国的最终用户知道中国的货物很便宜，质量也不错但是因为没有这样的一套体系，他们必须透过中间商来购买。
So now what happened before, the United States end users know the products in China, it's good quality and low price, but they don't have the channels to go directly to Chinese manufacturers to get the benefits.
我们不仅仅会在互联网上建立一个 Internet 的平台，而且事实上我们现在已经在 Ontario 的 City， 我们已经租了一个20多万尺的仓库。我们呢会做物理的平台，我们会有仓库，会有物流，会有售后，会有销售，把这样的平台都建立了之后，这样中国的工厂就可以把货物直接卖给美国用户。
So what we're doing here, not just an online platform, what we're doing here is actually we set up office in Ontario and rented a big, huge warehouse for all the Chinese manufacturers store the products there. And so the end users in the United States actually can go to the storage to pick up whatever they want.
So I would like to ask you to put on your future glasses for a moment
对，我们的理解就在5到10年之内，我们这样的一个平台 ，Uber 现在可以帮助几十万的司机、无数的人可以利用 Uber 的平台连在一起。那么我们透过这样的一个服务呢，我们就可以帮中国几十万甚至上百万的工厂和美国几千万的家庭，或者说很多的组织联系在一起，可以把他们相互之间的这个叫什么这个连在一起，就是我们可以理解成为是一个国际贸易的 Uber。
So what we're trying to hear, just like what Uber's doing here in the United States, so we're going to connect all the Chinese manufacturers to the families here and the users here in the United States, and we're like building up international Uber here.
So, do you also have in mind the notion of connecting Chinese consumers to American manufacturers?
我们现在还没有考虑这样的业务，也许等我们把我们的业务模式成熟了之后，我们有可能反过来把美国工厂的货物能够直接供应给中国的这个最终消费者。
We don't have the current plans yet, but we know that once we finish the first part, we go to the second part. In the future, we anticipate building what the China just mentioned the other way around.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Dr. G, Air China is a superb airline. My wife and I have had the pleasure of putting on your pajamas on a number of trips to China. Incidentally, I wish you still provided those pajamas. I wonder if you'd comment on the innovation forces that have affected your recent planning and where you see Air China's North American operations going in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for flying with us. First of all, let me ask Kenny a question. Is that an iWatch? Oh my gosh. The Cedar Sinai is doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well. Good for you. So when I was asked to speak on an innovation panel, I was dumbfounded. Innovation in the airline industry, an old industry. But then this morning when I was driving here, I was listening to the radio. On the NPR, there was this message by the Almond Board of California. And he says, the water needs of almond trees are not unique amongst trees. And almond growers are committed to innovation and water efficiency. So you've all heard, in this water crunch, you've heard about the pressure that's been put on nuts producers, especially almond producers, because almonds, by the way, you nut lovers out there, the almond tree is a water guzzler, so it consumes a lot of water. So they're under a lot of pressure. So they bring this message on the NPR, telling people, hey, we're committed to innovation. So I'm thinking if almond growers can engage in innovation, I suppose we can. That's the message. That's the joke. It's not a joke, but we started to fly to LA in April of 1982. And at that time, we were operating once a week. Then when I took over in late 2004, we were running 3 flights a week. So that was 3 times. That's progress. Today, between LA and Beijing, we operate 3 flights a day. So there's got to be some change. There's got to be some innovation. And when I actually think about it, there are many changes. There are many things of innovation nature. On the technical side, obviously, we operate twin engine airplanes. It used to be that we operate guzzlers, gas guzzlers, not water guzzlers. The 747 that we used to operate would burn about 12 tons of fuel per hour. And the 777, American-made 777-300ER airplanes that we operate between LA and Beijing, It burns about 7 tons of fuel, so that's a tremendous, tremendous saving. And then we're going to acquire more fuel-efficient, greener airplanes. The 787-9 is coming online. And also the way we do business has seen a lot of innovation. For example, we were strictly a state-owned enterprise. We didn't have to sell that much. But in this world, in today's environment, we aggressively do our selling. And the marketing was unheard of in China. And still, marketing is always the weakest link in any Chinese company. And we're trying to change that. And we've tried very hard to change that. And Chinese companies typically don't get involved politically, but we play the game pretty well here. Now, you might wonder, why is it that we can operate 3 flights a day today? Now, let me throw out 2 numbers for you. And Les is here, my good friend, a mutual friend of Richard and mine. In 2010, the number of visitors from China was 735,000. Guess today's number, 2.1 million. So what happened? What happened was, actually there was a problem before. The problem was that it was very, very hard for Chinese nationals to get a visa to visit the United States. So I personally made many trips thanks to the help and support of Les. And worked with the government. I've made presentations to cabinet level officials, Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security, Assistant Secretary of State, Deputy Secretary of DOT, and numerous Congress people.
Mr. Chi, I've been given a note that we have like 8 minutes left.
Right.
I apologize. I apologize for interrupting, but I want to give an opportunity for the remaining panel to give us their contributions as well.
Okay, so how do you want me to wrap up? Another 10 minutes?
I'd like you to say thank you very much, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you very much. Good question.
Ms. Lee, BYD is the world's largest manufacturer of batteries, a circumstance that makes what your company does of great interest to those of us working with the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator. I would appreciate insight into your views. We know that battery technology has come a long way over the last 5 and 10 years, but it still has a way to go. I'd appreciate your views as to how much further it will go, how soon, and when will we have batteries capable of supporting our alternative energy resources?
Okay, this is actually a very good question. So for the battery, we're talking about the 2 types of chemistry. One is using for the cell phone tablet, which is lithium cobalt oxide, to pursue very high energy density. So it's going to involve new additivity. Then to make this capacity maybe increase in next 5 years, could be 50%. But then for when we're talking about the auto industry, the car industry, and the battery utility use storage, then there are 3 elements we need to be, is the essential to choose chemistry. First one is safety. You need to make sure the battery is through into the fire, no explosion, safe. Second, you need to make sure it's a long life cycle. So the idea, the concept for BYD we have is that we use the battery can last for 30 years. So for example, the battery we're using for the buses, trucks, and the car, we use the iron phosphate battery. It's like in the lab, we finish 10,000 cycle. That means 30 years life. And then the third element you need to consider is the cost. So you want the future in 10 years, talking about the innovation in the future, in 10 years on the street, 50%, the consumer will mainly drive the EV or plug-in hybrid. And also the future, if you see all the big auto companies' announcement for the future new car, everything is plug-in hybrid car or EV. Then this also gives the capability for the car can start to have automatic driving and also link with internet. So then By the battery, we needed is affordable technology. So the cost needed to be lowest cost that can really support this mass market demand. So my view on this industry, we will stick maybe in next 5 years still in the current iron phosphate, which demonstrate this by these three elements what the best solution. But at the same time, the energy density is going to increase around 10 to 15% per year. So it means in 5 years from now, use the same weight of vehicle, the same size of the chemistry, you make double the range.
You know, I can't help asking a question because we have a local manufacturer of battery-powered cars, a little company by the name of Tesla. And they're in the middle of building what is billed as the largest battery manufacturing plant in the world. And I'd be very interested in BYD's perspective on that development as a competitive influence and how that is will affect your own planning going forward. So now, only tell me what you feel you can.
So first, we don't think Tesla is competition, it's partner, because it's the innovation, it's transaction, transfer from the conventional car to the future transportation. You need more partner to demonstrate. Tesla did a wonderful job on the introducing to do marketing, promoting, but anyhow, we call their product still the rich man's toys, right? Not everybody here can afford. Even myself cannot afford one. So, but BYD has a different target. Our target is we focus on fleet. For example, we have the 7+4+1 strategy. The 7, all the 7 industry is including the transit bus and the delivery trucks, community coach, and also the semi truck, like a waste management truck. This kind of fleet use truck, taxi, will be 100% fleet. So this is the area, actually, is not Tesla's focus. It's BYD's focus. But by our view, we think by the efficiency, you can help to reduce efficiency, reduce CO2, reduce pollution is most effective. I have some data to share with you. Like in Hong Kong, they have 13,000 buses, around 15,000 taxis. So we make a very quick calculation. If you can electrify, there's only 28,000 vehicles. You can reduce the vehicle pollution in Hong Kong by 62%. So then, and then if you see globally, New York, Los Angeles, if we electrify 100% the buses, taxi, and the delivery trucks, all the trucks, then you can reduce 66% the pollution on the road. But then the population of this vehicle is less than 10%. So the amount, the money you spend, and it's small, but the result is significant. And then regarding the charging infrastructure, this is the challenge both BYD and Tesla facing, is it's easier to build in the charging infrastructure. So by this is BYD focus, not unlike Tesla.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Now, if we could only figure out how to get these electric buses and taxis actually moving on our freeways, that would be an innovation. Mr. Neighbor, I'm sort of fascinated in how a Hollywood personality, such as yourself, ends up producing what is almost the most popular television show in China. Can you tell us a little about that and where you see your industry going, particularly with respect to China in the future?
Sure. Here in the U.S., I'm probably better known as the founder of E! Entertainment Television, the TV networks, a few others. But some time ago, I realized at some point in time we're going to run out of Kardashians to do TV shows about. So I said, where could I go that's going to be a great new adventure and an opportunity to do a lot of innovative things that, quite honestly, I don't get a chance to do here in the United States. In the U.S., the media business has become incredibly consolidated, and unless you're one of the big players, the Rupert Murdochs of the world, it's very, very difficult for someone like myself who chooses to be an independent to operate. So when I looked at the world